Okay, ready? Let's go. Right, good morning, welcome back. Okay, day 29 Hayabusa build, and before I get stuck into this old heifer today, I want to say a couple of quick thank yous if I can. First of all, to my kid brother Lee on the other side of the world in Australia. Thank you so much, Lee, for that plate. The Costa Rica plate arrived eventually. I think it obviously came the long way round by a little guy in a rowing boat, but it's here safe and it's on the wall, looks fantastic. Thanks, bruv. About time we caught up on Skype, don't you think? Anyway, there we are. The second one is my good friend Travis Binkle. Now, Travis in the USA is a Chinook helicopter pilot, and he sent me this rather stunning and amazing cap. Thank you so much, Travis, along with some amazing other things, some t-shirts. It was the last t-shirt I wore, the Hawaii Harley Davidson t-shirt in the last video, and some other amazing things in a fantastic box of love and joy. And along with that was these gloves. These are Chinook helicopter pilots gloves. I mean, what more could you want? What is cooler than that? This is what helicopter pilots wear when they're in service flying choppers. That's incredible. Thank you so much, so I really appreciate that. With the cap, you've got the pilot's wings as well. He sent me some amazing souvenirs. Thank you, Travis. I really am touched by that. It's a fantastic gift. If you don't mind, I won't wear this in the garage because obviously, as you know, you're doing this all the time with your cap. This is obviously that colour and I want to keep it nice, and we've always got dirty, filthy hands. This will get trashed in no time. So thank you, Travis. Thank you, Lee. I really appreciate that. Let's get back into the project with a vengeance today. Fuel tap. I've never done this before, never seen what's underneath there, what the fuel tap looks like on a Hayabusa. I'm hoping they're quite generic. I've done loads in the past. I've got the kit to repair it. So let's get the tank off, turn it upside down and see what's in there. Let's get onto it. Okay, going to drain the rest of this out and then spin it upside down and see what's happened here, because something ain't right. Right, okay, that's the original hose. You can see that because it's shaped, curved into a permanent shape. It's clean on the end, it's got its clips and its anti-crush spring on it. Everything's fine, nothing wrong with the return hose, but the feed hose out of the tank into the pump, that's a piece of random fuel hose. It's not original because the crush spring is a bit small for it. It's thicker than the original shaped kind, and it could be that it's split in the past. With the state of this bike, I wouldn't be surprised if that's either someone's took the tank off and that's ripped it, it had an elbow perhaps and that's cracked or split it or something, whatever. But it's where it's been cut horribly. I think probably with a blunt spoon or something, and the rest of it just chewed off. But there we are, I've got to deal with that. It's not long enough to cut a nice clean end, and I just want to know what's wrong with this. Why has that got a brass union connected into it somehow with a lump in there somehow? I don't know what on earth is going on and why that's like that. So I've got to get that out of there before I discover. There's probably nothing wrong with the tap. It might not be a problem. I've got a kit, so I'm going to put a kit in it anyway, but that I think is my problem. So let's try and get that. Let's get the whole hose off, put it on the bench, get some squirt oil down there, and see if I can ease that out without brutalising it. Gently, gently. Right, this is the rebuild kit of all the rubbers and seals that are inside the tap itself. But before I get there, I need to just investigate why that brass union has come out of the tap completely. Does it just pull out? Is that correct? Never seen one of these. Done loads of Bandits, done loads of Harley ones, loads of them. But this particular one looks a little bit different in the sense that there doesn't seem to be any connective collar or anything that holds this in. So let's have a look at the kit. Let's take the tap out and let's actually just investigate what on earth's gone on here. First job is to get that out of the hose without marring up that end with pliers and silly things like that. Let's move this across out of the way. Little trick for you, loads of crud around the hole. You don't want to wipe that and push it all down inside the tank. So grab some masking tape and stick it to it gently. And just lift it off like that. Bit of CSI. Okay, and while I store the tank over there out of the way, I'm going to seal up that hole. A little trick. Piece of rubber glove over the hole and then tape that onto the tank. If you put tape over the hole, the fumes from the fuel that's remaining inside will melt the glue on there and it will just go all slimy and horrible. So seal it up with the rubber and then tape it up. Just stop any badgers falling in. Right, there we are. As you saw, this is a bit of a tricky thing to get out. That little cap there, obviously there's nothing to pull on, and naturally you wouldn't go digging screwdrivers down the side and levering it out because you'll just mar it up and bugger it. It's easier, as you saw, some WD-40 on top of it. That gets underneath, it will worm its way in underneath, and if you just turn it by pressing on the two flats there, and just keep moving it backwards and forwards through about 90 degrees. Gradually it will just pop up and you'll be able to get it out. Gently, patience, and you'll get that out nicely every time. Now at this point, as you can see, this is a universal kit. It comes with other little bits and pieces you don't need. It's a bit like carburetor kits for 4-barrel carbs. You get loads of stuff in there you're not going to use. You take from it what you need. It's easier for the manufacturers, I guess, to send out a full universal kit with everything you like, you need, charge you one price, one packing, one part number, one product, and you just cherry pick from it what you want. In this instance, all I actually need for this is 3 rubber seals. The main seal against the tank itself, the little round circular O-ring which effectively seals this little thing in, and obviously the funny little smiley gasket which they all have. And that one, because they're probably old, they're 20 years old and original, and a normal tap, a normal fuel tap that you turn on and off all the time, these get wear against them, so they rub away gradually over the course of time. But this particular tap, well, it's on all the time. It's not really a fuel tap as such, it's just an outlet valve. It's open all the time. You don't turn it, twist it or nothing. As you can see, the cap itself, it's got nothing to turn it with. It's completely flat, it stays in one position all its life. So these seals in here, they're probably okay. You could probably clean them up and put them back in, but I've got the new ones. So I'm going to pop the new ones in, pop the cap back in, put the screws back in, and at least that's that eliminated. Then I can take a closer look what on earth's going on with that and how to fit that back so it works and doesn't leak. May have to look into that. Right, now that's ready to refit into the tank now, carefully, and screw it into place with 2 new bolts. Now the other thing is this brass union. That's now fully rebuilt. I can't afford to replace that. It was leaking because they're £105, so that's why I wanted to re-kit it and make sure that's not the problem. Since taking it off and taking it apart, for the first time ever, I've discovered this problem with this little brass union. As you can see if you look down here, the union itself, it fits in, it just pushes into the hole, and it is quite a nice snug interference fit. And even when you rotate it, it seems to go around nicely without any grumbliness. It seems to slide around there nicely. Now the temptation is to put that in the vise, using the vise as a press, and press that into place, and I'm pretty sure that's the way it fits. But before I go doing it, remembering that this is an aluminium casting and this is clearly tapered very slightly. If you push it in, it goes in about halfway and locks, and I imagine that pressing it in, that makes a seal. It's brass, which is super soft, against aluminium, which is obviously soft, and I'm assuming that the two form a seal. But I don't want to go doing that without double checking first, because if you do it and you press that in there, aluminium casting, if it presses outwards too far on that, then it's just going to crack it, and I will then need to spend £105 on a new one. I've seen a few second-hand ones for sale, but they're second-hand. They may well just have the same problem. I've been there with this kind of second-hand part before. In the end, it's a false economy. You're better off buying a new one. So I don't want to spend 100 quid. I want to take some time over the next few days to just check that, make sure that that's how that fits in there, and then press it in gently. I won't cut you out of it. I'll show you it done, make sure, and I'll confirm that. So this is just a pause on that, taking a rain check on finishing this job, and then I'll insert it in, bolt it in with the 2 new bolts and little nylon washers, torque it in correctly, and that's that job done. And then I'll just be sure of that. Then it will be finally a new hose. This piece of universal hose, as I said, that's chewed and nasty on the end, so I'll cut it properly. I'll show you a little technique to cut them absolutely square every time, and I have to get myself a new clip. These little squeeze clips, one of them's missing. It's probably down there under the airbox somewhere, and I'll rescue that and fit the whole thing back on correctly when the time comes. Now that's it for today. Sorry it's a slightly shorter video, but that's fuel tap rebuild. I'm doing these like this, like the clutch rebuild and the brake master cylinder rebuild, because then they're standalone videos titled as such in case you need them. Put them in your save box. There's just one more thing to say. We'll leave that there nice and safe. I'm going to tell you about a very special person. Right, okay, now I'd like to end today's video by just saying a little shout out, a little tribute to my friend Lucas. Lucas is just 9 years old, and would you believe, at just 9, Lucas suffered a stroke. A stroke. When I heard this, it stood me still. I did not know that you could suffer a stroke as a child, but apparently so. Now the good thing is Lucas has beat it. He's over it and he's on the mend and he's going to get well. But it doesn't end there, because although he suffered all of the hardship and the terrible trauma of a stroke at the age of 9, when Lucas was a toddler, and I mean really tiny, he suffered cancer as well. And he got over that too. So personally, I reckon Lucas is made of kryptonite and directly related to Superman. So Lucas, if you're watching, little fella, we are thinking of you. Get well soon, dig deep, and keep in touch. We'd love to hear from you as often as you get a chance. Say thanks to your family for putting you in touch with us, and we are honoured that you love our videos, Lucas. Get well soon, little fella. And to everybody watching, remember, for all of the hardships and nastiness in the world, bad times are temporary and there's always someone worse off. So there it is for today. Thank you for watching. Take it easy, ride safe, and I'll see you next time.